I've been rubbing my eyes a lot. Do I look ripped? We'll fix it in post. Guys, comedy is not what you think it is, all right? No one tells you what the game is all about. You know, it's not like when you become a doctor and you're thinking about it, they're like, this is how it's going to go. It's going to be 8 years of med school, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's none of that shit because it's just the Wild West. You don't know what you're doing. The road is fucked. If my daughter ever asked me, she was like, Dad, I want to be a comedian, I'd be like, absolutely not. No females should do comedy, all right? Strictly from how dangerous it is. And I feel like that's why people are like, oh, female comics aren't funny. It's like, bro, do you know they're risking their lives every fucking road gig? And then you're out here being like, oh, not fucking funny. Yeah, because she had to dodge off fucking lunatics for about 8 hours and stay in a hotel with no door on it. I did that. I'm done. I'm done with the road. I don't want to do this shit because when I started with comedy, I was like, oh, you know what it's going to be, bro? I'm going to just do comedy clubs. It's going to be packed all the time. Then I'm going to do theaters. Then I'm going to do stadiums. That's how it goes. And everyone does that. No one does that. 95% of comedians never do a stadium in their life or even a theater. They just end up doing piece of shit bars and you get fucked. You perform for 4 people and it makes me sick. I'm done. This podcast is brought to you by One Bone, guys. Go to onebone.com/I'm done. Get your first t-shirt and a tote bag on me, free 99, 100% off. It's going to be sick. The code is FT-I'm done. Own your fit, guys. This is my fit. Today I'm wearing a Michael. I've worn a Michael every episode. It's my favorite. These are the long sleeves. I find that long sleeves, I used to hate long sleeves growing up, but now I don't know why. When you cover my whole arm, maybe because I'm insecure about my arms now, whereas back in the day, I used to be like, buddy, I'm going to be Hulk Hogan. It was all fat, but I thought it was muscle. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? Own your fit. Be jacked. Be fat. Be whatever you want. You're still going to look good in a One Bone. You see this? That's the tote that you're going to get. Can you get that anywhere else? No, you can't. The only place that you can get a free One Bone and a free tote bag is right here on the Buddy I'm Done podcast. All right. I'm going to tell you guys right now, one of the worst gigs I've ever done, okay? In terms of being dangerous, all right, we're going to loop it back to the ladies and how we stay in insane situations. You get picked up by people. A lot of comedy is like, hey, bro, do you want to do this road gig? This guy I know runs a show in Red Deer. Red Deer's between Calgary and Edmonton. And they'll be like, all you got to do, man, is just show up there. This guy will pick you up from the train station, or I don't even think there's a train station. He'll pick you up from wherever the fuck you want. He'll pick you up from Edmonton, whatever you want to do. He'll drive you to a show. It's in the second floor of a hockey arena in the back room. Sometimes they have a liquor license there, and it will be great. Now, I'm going to call out this particular individual. He had a stage name, and I could tell, which makes it even worse because you're like, okay, I don't know who this person is. It's the middle of February in fucking Red Deer. Do you know how cold that is? It's like negative 28 degrees, right? I show up and my buddy goes, hey man, you're waiting for a guy named Vidi Epson. Do you know Epson? Right away I was like, Epson, like Epson printers? Vidi, like the video, there was an old school thing in the 80s called Vidi, it was Vidi camcorder, one of the first camcorders, something like that. I was like, this is a fake fucking name. Fake name in a pickup truck that has a lot of rust on it. That's all I was told. A lot of rust on a pickup truck and a guy named Vidi Epson, right? Never met this guy in my life. Have no idea anything about him. He pulls up. He looks like the guy from fucking No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem.
What time do you go to bed, sir?
Okay. I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, who is this guy? He's like, hey, buddy, I'm Vidi Epson. I'm here to take you to the show. Thank God I'm 300 pounds and I could throw this guy across a lake, right? But if I was 110 pounds, beautiful female comic, absolutely not. Imagine that's your situation. This guy goes, hey, bro, so you're going to be staying with me tonight. I know you're on the road and someone was telling me that you needed a place to stay. I didn't. I could have got a hotel. I thought they were putting me up. I didn't know that it was this guy's house. I know nothing about him. We do the show. During the show, this guy opens the show. He's the host. He does okay. And then he just leaves, right? He leaves with some girl who was 10 times his age. He comes back 2 hours later. I'm stuck at this show at a hockey arena in the middle of Red Deer in the parking lot for 2 hours. Don't know where this guy lives. He has all my bags in his fucking pickup truck, and I'm just sitting there. I'm calling people being like, yo, where's this Vidi Epson guy? He's got to fucking pick me up. He comes back. He's like, hey, sorry, man. I'm trying to fuck that lady that you saw there. Like, you know, she's going to let me in sometime. I was almost there. Sorry for keep you waiting. We made out a bit. It was all worth it. I'm like, buddy, worth it for you. I've been eating sun chips out of vending machines for the last 4 hours. Thanks a lot, dipshit. He takes me to his house. It's a townhouse in this like little complex. He goes, be very quiet. My kids are sleeping. I was like, you have fucking kids? You have kids? Are you fucked? This guy's like in his 50s. And I was like, okay, yeah, man, for sure. He takes me upstairs. It's pitch black. I can't see shit. He just takes me to a room and goes, hey, man, this is your bed. I'll see you in the morning. I'm usually up really early. So, you know, do your thing. Bathroom's over there. Bathroom, single little bathroom with all of his kids' shit in it. Baby toys, toothbrushes, like you name it. It was the most disgusting bathroom. Looked like a bomb went off. You know what I mean? I have kids now, one, and like the bathrooms are always a fucking mess.
Oh my gosh.
Cut to the middle of the night. Like I said, it's February. It's Red Deer. I'm sleeping on this bed. The bed collapses, right? One of the legs just buckles as I get on it. It's not made for people my size. It's a children's single mattress. I've never slept on a single mattress in my life. I skipped cribs. That's how big I was. I was so big when I was born, they put my mom on my chest. Okay, that's how fucking big I was. So this is what happens. I'm in bed. It starts getting really fucking cold. I wake up in the middle of the night. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm fucking freezing. There's a poster on the wall, a Def Leppard poster. It's like flapping off the wall. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I ripped the poster off the wall. There is a hole to the outside. Like just a window should be there, but it's not. And it's just bricks. I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm freezing. And I'm like, this is insane. Animals, serial killers, who the fuck knows? I'm like, you have children and you have a hole in your wall? Like a hole in a bedroom on a bed that has weak legs. Where am I right now? Could you imagine your own child in this scenario? Are you fucked? My parents don't even know about this. Anyways, well, my dad does because like, hey, I'm staying with this guy named Vidi Epson. Right away, my dad, fucking computer. Epson, like Epson printers? Holy shit. Maybe that's the Epson guy. Tell him I say hello. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm going to get murdered, Dad, you know? He's like, well, see if you can get us a couple extra printers. Like, stupid. So I wake up in the morning. This guy is downstairs making his kids pancakes. He goes, you want pancakes? And I'm like, sure. He goes, you want to hit a bong rip first? His kid's 12 and like 8. And his kid's like, Dad, I don't know if you should be offering your guests bong rips. And I'm like, you're 100% correct. It's 8 a.m. Dad rips a bong rip right on the table, puts it down. He's like, you know, my kids have juice and tea. I got a bong for breakfast. All right, man, take it easy. Feel free to stick around, whatever. I had another comic coming to pick me up. We were going to do a run in southern Alberta. So I had to wait at this guy's house till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I literally sat on the couch on a Saturday and played video games with his 12-year-olds all day long. This guy never came back. It was fucked. It was insane. Could you imagine being in that situation? No, me either. Need a fucking espresso. Man, that's another bad part about Alberta. No espressos anywhere. I hate that. When you go to, like, how hard is it, thank you, sir, to have a good coffee shop? Do you know what I mean? Like, open up a coffee shop. If you're an Italian and you're like, you know what? Where can I bring my coffee shop? Alberta. Bring it to fucking Alberta. We just get it all down there, brother. Oh! You ever seen that video of that kid who's got Down syndrome with 2 glass beers and he's in the pool and they're like, don't do it. And he's like,
no. Holy shit.
Jesus. Bobby, stop. Bobby, stop. With you.
Woo!
Do not move.
I love it. Guys, I'm going to be touring. That was the whole point of Espresso Time, to tell you guys where. See what it does to you? It makes you just fucking skip past all the good shit. I'll be doing a cross-country theater tour because that was the dream from the start. Do fucking theaters. I'll be in the U.S. Stay on my Instagram at not Marc Anthony to find out more information. I'm sweating. Just had to let it dissipate the gases. Hey, come on. Anyways, guys, this is a true story. One of the craziest gigs I've ever done. This is when I had no business doing like 45 minutes to an hour. You know, they asked me to headline. This is a comedy club in Thunder Bay. Okay, it used to be called Crickets. Everyone knows the owner in the scene. He used to be a comic. Well, he's still a comic. He's funny as fuck, but you know, he's a little wild cat. There's not a lot of people like that. Speaking of cats, he has a cat farm on his property. It's like a ranch of cats. I am deathly allergic to cats. Did you know that? You didn't know that. Now you know. This guy has about 100 cats on the premises. My worst fucking nightmare. I pull up to the show. He goes, hey, buddy, it's going to be me, you, and one opener. You're headlining. You'll be doing like 40 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And at that time, that's about all I have, you know? And he goes, all right, man, don't be late. I'm going to go upstairs to the bar real quick. The basement was the comedy club. And then there was this bar on the first floor at this hotel. This is in Thunder Bay. Insane. So he goes upstairs and his daughter comes running downstairs. She's running the bar in the comedy club. She's like, you guys got to come upstairs. My dad is upstairs. He's getting in a fight. You guys got to come upstairs. I go running upstairs. This indigenous dude has this motherfucker off the ground, like a solid foot off the ground. He's like, get the fucking let go of me, you son of a bitch. And like the fucking indigenous dude is like, you fucking stole my fucking money. Starts slamming this guy against the thing. They get into a fist fight. Indigenous dude knocks him the fuck out. He's on the ground, flatline. Me and his daughter pick him up, bring him down into the fucking green room. His daughter goes, by the way, the opener bailed. So you guys have to split the time. I'm like, who? She's like, you and my dad. I'm like, oh, your dad's, oh, right. He's on the show too. He looks at me. We get him like conscious again. Both of his ears start bleeding.
It's a flesh wound.
I don't know anything about medicine, but what I do know is if your fucking ears are bleeding, it's immediate hospital, right? Like that's a hospital, so you have to go to the hospital, right? His ears are bleeding, and he's like, hey, man, you know what? It's going to be a great show. It's going to be me and you. I'm going to need you to do more time because I'm not feeling too great, and you're going to fill the time of the other kids, so how about you do like an hour? I'm like, sure. I have no business doing an hour. He goes on stage, and he's like reversing his sentences. Like he's on stage and he's like, all right, good you guys are doing today. You're all here night. And they're all like, what's going on? And then I go on stage and I'm like, thanks, man. All right, take off. He gets off stage. He feels like he crushed and did 15 minutes off the top. He was like, hell yeah, and leaves. And I explained the whole story to the audience. The audience, 4 people in the front row. 4 people in the front row. Have you ever been to Thunder Bay performed for 4 people after the opener/owner got the shit kicked out of him and his brain basically rattled in his own head and started bleeding? I was shocked he was fucking alive. Then he goes, you're staying at my place. I'm driving you home. This guy drives me home to his house in a cube van that has a stripper pole in the back of it because he rents them out. Like, how can I make these things up? He drives me home. We go to Red Robin. There's a Red Robin in Thunder Bay. Those are like Red Robin. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but you know, they're basically like a coffee shop, whatever. It's like a coffee time. He gets 3 XL coffees, doubles at like 1 a.m. Like that's insane, you know? He goes, hey, listen, I know you told me you're allergic to cats, so I put you in the one room that like doesn't have the cats. So make sure you get in there and you lock the door. I go in there. There's a baby crib in this room. Nothing else. And I'm like, where am I sleeping? I don't know. He goes, yeah, man, just, you know, you can sleep in here. I was like, is there anything at all? Like no pillows, no nothing? He's like, yeah, for sure. I'll go get you some. He never came back. I was like, he's dead for sure. I go in there. I'm sleeping. Cut to 5 o'clock in the morning. There's a cat on the crib, just on the top of it, just staring right at me. And I was like, you piece of shit. And I like, you know, I sit up. Then I scare this cat off. I get it out the door. I go and lay back down, my head in a puddle of fucking cat piss. I'm done. Fuck that bullshit.
Did that guy ever pay you?
It took him 8 months to pay me. 8 months to pay me. You're right. He couldn't fucking remember because his shit kicked in. 8 months to pay me. Do you know how fucked up that is? That's insane. All right. I'm going to tell you why I can't stand the East Coast in Canada. See, I love the road. I used to do it a lot more often. Now that I've had a kid, I'm like, okay, stop doing this fucking stupid shit. You know what I mean? Try and sell shit. That's why I turned to content. I'm like, I got to build more followers, build the fan base so I can go places that are a little bit put together. There's a hotel, eat that cost, and I know I'll make it back. Instead of staying in Vinny Epson's fucking danger room on his 3rd floor. I used to go to the East Coast all the time. Now, anybody who lives in the East Coast, I love you guys. You're great. For comedy, you're the worst. I'll explain. The only reason why is because they are just so relaxed in the East Coast. Like, they don't want to be stressed. They don't want to work insanely hard on something if it's going to cost them too much like brain power. They want to just chill the fuck out. I feel like I'm insulting the shit out of them. If they bring you in like they're your own family, they treat you like royalty. But like when it comes to doing shows and business, it's always like, yeah, we'll get to it. Hey, don't you worry about it. You know, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. I'm like, the show is in a day. What do you mean? Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, people might show, people might not. I'm like, well, no, but you're paying me. Maybe. What? Like and it pisses me off. Every time I go there, I'll usually have about anywhere from 12 to 20 shows booked. And I come home, half of them were completed. The other half they're like, yeah, no. Hey, tomorrow, don't worry about it. So we're not doing the show? I don't think so. Why not? Me and Barb aren't up to it. Him and Barb own the brewery. And I'm like, well, you owe me the deposit. You know, I'm keeping the deposit. I guess, sure. But it's within, you know, I have contracts. I'm like, it's within 30 days. You owe me the full thing. Sometimes, you know, when I had a contract on the second go around and fuck myself. He's like, no, I'm not going to pay you the rest. He's like, if you want, take us to small claims, but really? Over $500? And they're right. What are you going to do? You're fucked. I'm going to sue a brewery owner for $500? No. Right? So this fucking gig that I go on, it was honestly the nicest show I ever did in my life, but financially, such a fucking disaster. Okay? I don't want to name names, but I might. But it was on the ocean in a beer garden next to a fucking pirate ship that they would like take out into the ocean as like a little tour. And it's like an original pirate ship. They do tours on it all the fucking time. It was insane. So there's this beer garden. Mid-show, fucking whales are like going. I felt like it was majestic. I felt like I was in Free Willy and shit. Usually they're like, you're Free Willy, you know what I mean? Like I'm the whale. Like, you know, it was the first time that the whale was like back there. Stupid. Okay. So I'm on the way to the show 2 hours before. The lady calls me. Hey, Mark. Listen, I'm thinking we pull shoot on this. Why? What's going on? Like me and Steve, we've really been hammering the pavement on this one. I'm not too sure if we should go through with it. It's been a real hoot and hollering, fucking stressed out. I can't take it. Last night we couldn't even sleep. There's only half the tickets sold. Fits about 80. We only got about 35, 40. Fuck, we're barely at a break even. Okay, well, I'm on the way. So we're doing the show, right? Let's not. I'll just refund everybody and just forget it. I'm like, listen, I'm there. A lot of people buy at the door. You're a small town. Who's buying tickets in advance for this? Nobody. I get there, guys. Like I said, beer garden, antique pirate ship, the ocean and whales behind me. Packed. 80 people, sold the fuck out. We had to turn away 20 people at the fucking door. I did an hour on stage, first time in my life, crushed the whole fucking time. It was unbelievable. She goes, the contract was for $1,200. You guys, what do you think? You'll take 600, right? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, it causes us so much stress. And like, I never want to do this again. And I'm like, we could do another show in an hour and we'll sell it out. Are you fucked? She's like, yeah, but the stress was just too much to handle. Can you just, listen, here's 800 and like, look, let's call it there. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Fuck you, bitch. Like, what are you going to do? You can't do anything, right? Her husband's like, I suggest that you just take it and fuck off. We lost a lot on this one. I lost my shirt on this. I missed my son's baseball game. You're like, we have a contract, bro. Contracts mean shit. When they really call you out on it, what are you going to do, right? Nothing. You get fucked. I'm done with the fucking road. It makes me sick. The best show I ever did in Halifax, no one's going to believe this. I've told this story before on a podcast, so I'm debating it, but it's so unique. I go to this place. It's called Moth Lane Brewery in PEI, okay? First of all, PEI is an anomaly. If you've ever been there, if you haven't been there, go there. And if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's just fucking, it's insane. It's its own universe, right? There's a bridge. There's no animals on the island. No, they can't get there. It's fucking weird. They have the best water and potatoes in the world. It's all clay filtration. It's crazy. Anyways, they have the biggest tree in PEI, and it looks like a random tree at any park in Toronto. They're like, it's the tree. Like it's crazy. So small town shit. But they treat you like you've been relatives forever there. So I go to this brewery. It's called Moth Lane, and the guy owns this oyster farm as well. So the brewery backs onto the ocean, and there's a fucking trailer that's like, right on the water. Like you step out, you're right there. And the brewery's like just up the street from there. And I get there, no one is in the brewery at all. Like nobody. We walk in, me and my buddy, we look through the whole brewery, no one's there. And then we come outside, there's a guy on a bike. Hey, if you're looking for Buddy, he's down by the ocean. Okay, we walk to the ocean. Buddy's in fucking overalls, scooping out like clams into those like sieve buckets in like those fucking rainproof overalls or whatever the fuck you call them. He's like, oh, you guys are the comedy? Give me a sec. Comes out, the guy's got clams, and he busts out another box of oysters and just starts shucking them and giving us oysters and clams. Fucking, it was the best shit I've ever had in my life. And beers. We're talking for 3 hours. We got there at 6. Show was supposed to start at 7. It's 9:30. It's us and the owner, absolutely obliterated, and have a stomach. I had like maybe 19, 20 oysters and like 17 clams. Like ridiculous. My whole dinner was just clams and oysters. I yacked later, but whatever. So we end up sitting there for this whole time getting plastered, and I'm like, by chance, are we doing the comedy show? Like, are we doing the show? He goes, oh yeah, about that. Takes out cash, counts it on the table. He goes, here's your money for tonight. You guys are great. And I was like, are we doing the show? And he's like, oh yeah, but like whenever you guys want. And I'm like, what, to who, dude? Like what? There's nobody here. It's just us. And he goes, oh yeah, well like you let me know when you want to start and I'll call everybody over. I was like, who is everybody? Where is everybody? He's like, well, you guys let me know when you want to start. The showroom's upstairs. So we go upstairs. It's like this loft in this brewery. Basically, it's like 4 picnic tables in a big room and no lighting. So it's pitch black up there. He's like, yeah, there's no lights. I'm like, is there a mic? No mic either. Here. This guy launches an extension cord up the stairs and he goes, plug that fucking lamp in there. Plug a lamp into it, put it next to the stool, like on top of the stool on the stage. And that was like the show light, and had to do the show a cappella, right? I'm like, so who's coming to this thing? He goes, you guys want to start in like 20 minutes? It'll probably take them that long to get here. I'm like, sure. This guy picks up landline phone of the brewery, calls like 6 people. Bill, yeah, come on over. The comedy show's going to start soon. Hey, Elena, the show's going to start soon. Hey, Jazz, the show's going to start soon. He's calling all of his relatives and friends and shit in the area. He's like, yeah, I fucking own basically all of PEI. Everyone knows who I am. They're going to show up. All of a sudden, in like 20 minutes, a bus, like a kid's school bus, and like a bunch of fucking vans and shit just start showing up. And they're packing the place. He goes, yeah, we'll start in 20 minutes. We do the show. Midway during my buddy's set, my buddy does an opening 45 minutes, okay? And he's doing great. My buddy's about to close. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to do a closing joke. And the owner just gets him and goes, yeah, fuck that. Beer break. We're like, okay. Everyone rushes downstairs. Okay, what did I tell you? Right? It was about 9 o'clock. We started the show about 9:30. It's 10:30. We're all outside in front of the brewery. Joints are being passed around. Fucking fingerlings. Like just huge joints are being passed around. We're all drinking. At this point, we're both plastered. We're high as shit. And another 45 minutes. He's like, little drink, smoke break. It was like a drink hour, okay? We get up there, and my buddy's like, you guys want me to finish my joke? The owner's like, fuck that. Bring on the next guy anyways. You did great, pal. Thanks a lot. I go on. Same thing. I'm 30 minutes in. I'm supposed to do 45 minutes. He's like, hey, Mark, that's good. Okay, another smoke break. We go outside, more joints, more beers. It's 12:45. We go back in there, and me and my buddy just go to like say goodbye. Be like, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate you. He's like, hey, I'm going to do some time too. I'm closing this bitch out. This guy is 60 years old. He's never done comedy in his life. He's like, I got a few good stories. The fucking owner goes on and does over an hour and fucking murders, dude. Like, destroys. Like, buried both of us. It was unbelievable. We're in the audience dying of laughing. We leave the place at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. He drove us to the hotel. Plastered. Like, and I'm like, buddy, there's no cops. He's like, buddy, it's Northern PI. Who gives a fuck? Like, no one cares. The cop's my brother. And I'm like, great. Crazy. Craziest shit ever in my fucking life. That's the part of the road where you're like, I love doing this shit. But you know, they're not all like that. If I was the owner of like a comedy club, it would just, you'd be paid before you walked in the door. You'd have all free food and beverages on the house because you're the fucking performer. I'd be giving you I'd give you bonuses and percentages on the fucking, like if you sold it out more. Like, dude, the average comedy club that you guys go to, headliner's getting $200, $250, $300 at most. It's insane. If you sell it out because you're a draw, doesn't matter. And they still are like, hey, you ordered a coffee, or you're gonna have to pay for that. It's like $3. And you're like, what the fuck? Whereas in the US, you sell that shit out, they give you a bonus. You don't pay for anything when you walk in there. They're sucking your dick. They're like, you want somebody to blow you in the back? We can send someone back there. It might be Dave, but you're good with that? Like, it's crazy, you know? Yeah. And I definitely would be putting people up in like good ass hotels, man. One time I stayed in this hotel in Drayton Valley. Okay, this is a true story, Alberta. Do you know where Drayton Valley is? Oil town. It's basically this, it's called, I can't remember what the place is called. Phenomenal showroom. Picture like a Boston Pizza, but like a standalone Boston Pizza. And upstairs is this like hotel that's a truck stop. Disaster. No door on my hotel room. No door on my hotel room. The guy gives me and half of the hotel rooms are abandoned, pitch black, animals running back and forth, crackheads who live there for fucking months at a time, truckers who just are like, you know, between stops and stay there for long periods of time as well. Those guys are great. But still, you're like, what is this? You know? You ever stay in a place and it's like, it's a smoker's hotel, so you can smoke in the fucking rooms? Well, in half of them. So it smells like smoke. And it's like extremely fucking dangerous. They have a huge drug problem in the fucking place, said the owner, not me. Don't come down on me. You know what I did? I took the fridge, I unplugged the fridge, and I slid it in front of the door. I dragged the bureau from my fucking room, wedged it long ways across the fridge, and then I put a bunch of plastic garbage bags around that. So if you got over the fridge and got over that, I fucking hear you coming because you're stepping on plastic bags, bro. And women do this. Imagine your daughters do that. Fuck that, bro. My daughter's not doing comedy fucking ever. Fuck that shit. Guys, this podcast is brought to you by OneBone. Go to onebone.com/I'm done. Use the code FT-I'm done. Get yourself a free OneBone shirt with a tote. The only place you can get it is on the I'm Done podcast. This is a OneBone right here. Own your fit. That's their new tagline. Hashtag own your fit. Guys, one time I got heckled so bad, dude, that I had to start the show over. Does that happen to you? You ever be out heckled? Like, there's been many times where like someone heckles me and I shut them down. You know, I'm not an aggressive comic. Like, I don't like to make people feel like shit. Even if they're heckling me, they're drunk, they're in the moment, they're trying to like impress their girlfriend or just like be funny. So you're like, okay, man, whatever. Like, I try and nicely diffuse it. This lady, I'll never forget this. This is in Kingston, okay? It was a Christmas party at the Absolute Comedy there. Rest in peace, Absolute Comedy Kingston. I'm walking on stage. I'm hosting the night, the Christmas party. They always play Eminem, Lose Yourself. So I'm hyped up. I'm ready to fucking go, you know? And as I'm walking onto the stage, this lady stands up and she's like, watch your step. Your gut's covering your feet. The whole place dying. Like, dying of laughter. I got on stage. I was like, Jesus Christ, you know, like, take it easy. I had a little bit too many shots. Like, welcome to the show. You know what I mean? And she was just like, not as many shots of fucking butter you're injecting into your food every morning, you fat piece of shit. Like, ruthless, but for whatever reason, the crowd is like, this is the funniest woman of all time. Like, she's destroying me. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And then she's like, would say like, known chirps. Like, she'd be like, your dick's so small, you pee on your nuts. Like, she'd say shit like that. And like, everyone's losing it. She's getting applause breaks. She stands on top of the table and she goes for another 5 minutes. And I'm standing there and I'm like, everything I'm saying back, she's flipping it and fucking doing the Uno reverse, slapping me in the face with it. Destroyed me. And I was like, I cannot start the show this way. This is how bad I got heckled. I called security, got her ejected from the show, and said, play Lose Yourself from the top again. We're starting this whole fucking show over. I'm not doing this. I walked off stage. I fucking hit play myself on Lose Yourself and did the whole re-intro of the show and came back out and started the show. How fucking embarrassing is that? Did you think that when I got into comedy, I thought that was ever going to happen? Absolutely not. It was embarrassing. And you want to know the best part? I have it recorded. I do. We're not going to play it. I have the audio. It's fucked. Lady ripped me to shreds. What would you do? Right. Would you let your kid go into comedy knowing this? You have the funniest kid in the world. They're like, Dad, Mom, I want to be a comedian. What are you going to say? If they're a female, say, please, honey, do anything else. If they're a male and they're actually good and they really want to pursue it, be like, fine, but let me talk to them first. You know what I mean? Feel free. If you want to be a comedian, give me a call and I'll let you know how it is. Because there's a lot of, like when I came up, no headliner tells you shit. Every headliner in the game was super protective about gigs and money, and like they never wanted other guys to come up and succeed. There's no like take me under my wing bullshit. Like in the US, there's a lot of work to go around. So there was a lot of guys helping each other, pulling people up. In Canada, the work is very scarce. So no one's pulling anybody up. Feel free, message me, and I will tell you another 45 of these stories, and then you can make the judgment yourself. I do feel like everybody should try comedy, like try stand-up once. Just makes you think a little bit differently, I'm done. Thank you very much. Peace. Follow me. You already do. Whatever.